Imagine navigating the Pacific Ocean in 1937. No GPS satellites, no modern radar, just you, your instruments, and thousands of miles of open water. In that era, Amelia Earhart was arguably the most famous aviator on Earth. She crossed the Atlantic Ocean entirely solo in 1932, proving that a woman could thrive in the most dangerous corners of aviation. By 1937, she set her sights on a final staggering goal, mapping a 22,000-mile flight path around the equator to become the first woman to circumnavigate the globe. Up to that point, her flights had been so consistently successful that the public viewed her almost as untouchable. No one was prepared for what was about to happen. After flying those 22,000 miles, only one leg remained. Earhart and her navigator, Fred Noonan, had to locate Howland Island, a speck of land less than 2 miles long, sitting alone in the central Pacific. On the morning of July 2nd, Earhart began sending increasingly urgent radio calls. She repeatedly warned that their fuel was running critically low and that they could not see the island. Her final transmission was brief and chilling. "We are on the line, running north and south." And then, nothing. The radio went dead. At the absolute peak of her career, utilizing the best aviation technology available at the time, she completely vanished. The immediate loss of contact threw the global press into chaos. The United States military responded by launching what was then the largest and most expensive air and sea search in history. For weeks, dozens of ships and aircraft scoured the ocean. They spent millions of dollars, but they recovered exactly zero physical evidence. No debris, no bodies. Most historians agree on a straightforward physics-based explanation. The engines finally consumed the last of the fuel, and the plane impacted the water. This cross-section of the Pacific shows the scale. A heavy airplane doesn't float. It drops into trenches miles deep. Because the crash moment is unknown, the search radius expands horizontally across thousands of miles. Hitting the exact zone is highly improbable. While the fuel starvation theory aligns perfectly with the physics of flight, the total absence of physical debris leaves a vacuum of proof. And where there is no proof, alternate theories take root. The most prominent alternative suggests Earhart managed a crash landing on a remote coral atoll called Nikumaroro. Over the years, expeditions to this atoll uncovered physical artifacts buried in the dense brush, including 1930s-era glass bottles and scattered metal fragments. But a closer look at the forensic data reveals a problem. Despite rigorous testing, not a single fragment has ever been conclusively matched to Earhart or the specific serial numbers of her aircraft. Another highly publicized theory claims that Japanese military forces operating in the Pacific intercepted and captured Earhart during her flight. Yet, historians have spent decades analyzing declassified wartime logs and military communications from Japan and America, finding zero verifiable records confirming a capture. Both the castaway and capture narratives offer a compelling story of survival, but when tested against the physical evidence, they fail the burden of proof, trapping investigators in a 90-year stalemate. The investigation didn't stop in the 1930s. Right now, private exploration teams are deploying advanced underwater robotics and deep-water sonar mapping to comb the Pacific floor. Even with nearly a century of technological advancement since her disappearance, no one has secured officially confirmed footage or wreckage of the aircraft. If searchers had immediately found a shattered plane in 1937, Earhart's final flight would be recorded as a straightforward tragedy. Instead, the absolute void of her disappearance cemented her in the public imagination. Because the horizon she chased ultimately swallowed her without a trace, she remains an eternal symbol of exploration. Look at the evidence. What do you think happened out there on July 2nd?